5 mistakes women make that make players win. Players win because women make predictable mistakes. And before you get defensive, this isn't about blaming you. It's about showing you the patterns players count on so you can stop giving them exactly what they need to keep playing you. If you keep falling for the same type of guy, getting the same disappointing results, it's time to look at what you're doing that makes their game work. By the end of this video, you'll know the 5 mistakes that make you an easy target for players and how to stop making them so you become unplayable. Mistake 1. Ignoring red flags because you're invested in the potential. The biggest mistake women make is seeing red flags clearly but choosing to ignore them because they're invested in who he could be rather than who he is. You rationalize, excuse, and explain away obvious warning signs because you want the fantasy version to be real. Players count on this. They know that once you're emotionally invested, you'll overlook evidence that contradicts the story you want to believe. You see the red flags, but talk yourself out of them. He shows inconsistency, secrecy, player behavior. You see it, but you rationalize. Maybe he's just busy. Maybe he's been hurt before. Maybe I'm being paranoid. You're not blind to red flags. You're choosing to ignore them. Players rely on you overriding your own judgment. Red flags don't disappear because you ignore them. They predict your future. You're dating his potential, not his reality. You're in love with who he could be if he changed. You focus on the 10% of the time when he's perfect and ignore the 90% when he's not. You think your love, patience, or understanding will unlock his real self. But potential is not a relationship. It's a fantasy you're having alone. You accept explanations that don't actually explain. He gives vague excuses and you accept them without question. I was busy, with no details. It's complicated, with no clarity. His explanations don't actually address the behavior, but you accept them because you want to believe. Players give non-explanations, counting on you not to push for real answers. And you give one more chance repeatedly. He disappoints, you set a boundary, he apologizes, you forgive, the pattern repeats. Each last chance becomes another in an endless series. You're teaching him he can disrespect you without consequences. When there's no actual consequence for bad behavior, the bad behavior continues. Why are you making this mistake? You've invested time, emotion, physical intimacy, and don't want it to be wasted. You want to believe love conquers all and people change for the right person. Admitting you were wrong means facing disappointment and starting over. Sunk cost fallacy keeps you investing in bad situations. For 6 months, Alexis ignored every red flag about Marcus. He was inconsistent. She told herself he was busy with work. He kept her separate from his life. She told herself he was private. Women commented flirtatiously on his social media. She told herself she was being jealous. His phone was Fort Knox. She told herself she should trust him. Every red flag had an explanation she supplied. Alexis was in love with the Marcus who could exist if he changed. Meanwhile, the real Marcus continued doing exactly what he'd always done. When Alexis finally found concrete proof he was seeing multiple women, she was shocked, but everyone around her had seen it coming. Alexis had seen it too. She'd just chosen potential over reality until reality forced itself on her. So see red flags for what they are. Stop supplying generous explanations for bad behavior. Date who he is, not who he could be. If who he is today isn't enough, walk away. Require real explanations. Vague excuses shouldn't satisfy you. Set consequences and enforce them. One more chance means one, not infinite. Cut losses early. Leaving after 2 months is smarter than leaving after 2 years of the same pattern. Mistake 2. Being too available and accommodating. Players succeed when women make themselves completely available and accommodate every request, schedule, and whim. You drop your plans when he calls. You accept last-minute invitations. You work around his schedule without requiring him to work around yours. You prioritize him while he keeps you as an option. This mistake signals that you're easy to access and low priority to yourself, so he treats you as low priority too. You drop everything when he reaches out. He texts at 10 p.m., you cancel your evening to see him. He calls last minute, you rearrange your schedule. Your plans are flexible. His availability dictates when you see each other. Being too available signals you have nothing else going on. It lowers your value in his eyes. People value what they have to work for. What comes too easily is taken for granted. You accept last-minute plans and booty call invitations. He won't make plans in advance, but you accept last minute, "What are you doing tonight?" You go over to hang out late at night knowing it's a booty call. You accept whatever crumbs of attention he offers when he offers them. You're teaching him he doesn't need to plan or prioritize you. You'll show up whenever summoned. You do all the accommodating. You travel to him, he never comes to you. You work around his schedule, he doesn't work around yours. You adjust your life to fit his. He makes no adjustments. Relationships require mutual accommodation. One-sided accommodation is you serving someone who doesn't value you. And you're always accessible. He can reach you anytime and you respond immediately. But when you reach out, his responses are delayed or unavailable. The dynamic is unequal. He controls access and availability. When one person is always available and the other isn't, the available one has less power. Why are you making this mistake? You think being accommodating shows you're low maintenance and cool. You're afraid if you're not available, he'll find someone who is. You believe being helpful and flexible will make him appreciate and choose you. The opposite is true. Easy access breeds contempt, not appreciation. Brittany was always available for Kyle. When Kyle texted at 11 p.m. asking if she wanted to come over, Brittany would cancel whatever she was doing. When Kyle said he couldn't make plans because his week was unpredictable, Brittany accepted last-minute invitations whenever he reached out. Brittany always drove to Kyle's place. Brittany adjusted her schedule around his. Meanwhile, Kyle never visited her. Kyle never made advanced plans. Kyle was often unavailable when Brittany reached out. Brittany thought being accommodating would show Kyle she was different from demanding women. Instead, Kyle learned Brittany would accept whatever minimal effort he provided. So he provided minimal effort. Brittany had trained Kyle that she required nothing from him, and that's exactly what she got. Nothing. So, have a full life that doesn't revolve around him. Be genuinely busy with your own plans, friends, interests. Require advanced planning, like, I need at least a day's notice to make plans. Say no to last-minute invitations, especially late-night come-over texts. Require mutual accommodation. If you're always accommodating and he never is, stop accommodating. Create your own scarcity. Match his energy. If he takes hours to respond, you do too. If he's busy, you're busy. Mistake 3. Having the talk too early, or trying to define it before he's invested. Women often try to have the exclusivity conversation or define the relationship before the man is emotionally invested, hoping that getting commitment early will create the relationship they want. But players use premature relationship talks as an opportunity to give vague, non-committal answers while continuing to enjoy benefits without obligations. You push for definition before he's earned it. You're sleeping together or spending a lot of time together, so you want to know what this is. You bring up exclusivity or relationship status early. He gives vague answers like, "Let's just see where it goes," and you accept it while continuing to give him relationship benefits. Asking for commitment before he's invested gives him the power to string you along with vague promises. You accept non-answers and keep investing. He says, "I'm not ready to label it," or "let's not rush," but continue seeing you. You accept this and continue to be sexually and emotionally available in undefined territory. Months pass in this undefined state while you hope he'll eventually commit. You're giving girlfriend benefits to someone who won't give you boyfriend commitment.
You think talking about it will create it. You believe having the conversation will turn situationship into relationship. You think if you just explain what you need, he'll provide it. But you can't talk someone into wanting to commit to you. Commitment comes from his desire, not from your persuasion. And you show all your cards while he shows none. You tell him you want a relationship, exclusivity, commitment. Now he knows exactly what he needs to say or do to keep you around without actually committing. He has all the information. You have none. The person who reveals their position first has less negotiating power. Why are you making this mistake? You're anxious about uncertainty and want clarity. You think being direct about your needs is mature and honest. You want to lock it down before he finds someone else. Your anxiety about losing him is making you try to force commitment before it's organic. After 6 weeks of dating, Hannah wanted to know where things stood with Chris. They were seeing each other regularly, sleeping together, texting constantly. Hannah brought it up. What are we? Chris said, "I really like you, I'm just not ready to put a label on it yet. Let's just enjoy what we have." Hannah accepted this because she didn't want to lose Chris by being demanding. 3 more months passed. Hannah brought it up again. Same answer. Hannah kept giving Chris all the benefits of a relationship, her time, her body, her emotional energy, while Chris kept all his options open. Hannah told herself she was being patient. Really, she was being played. Chris had never been planning to commit. He'd just been seeing how long he could enjoy girlfriend benefits without boyfriend responsibilities. So don't bring up commitment early. Let him wonder what you want instead of showing all your cards. Watch what he does, not what he says. Does he treat you like a girlfriend or an option? Set internal timelines. Decide how long you'll accept undefined status, then enforce it. Walk away from vague answers. "Let's see where it goes" is not a relationship. Decide if you'll accept that. Make him pursue commitment. Stop trying to convince him to want you. If he doesn't, move on. Mistake 4. Accepting disrespect and bad behavior without enforcing consequences. The most damaging mistake women make is accepting disrespectful behavior without enforcing consequences. He treats you poorly, you complain, he apologizes or gives an excuse, then continues the exact same behavior because you've shown him he can. Players test boundaries deliberately to see what they can get away with. You complain, but don't actually leave. He does something disrespectful, lies, cancels last minute, flirts with other women, disappears. You get upset, you tell him it's not okay, he apologizes or gives an excuse, you stay, and the behavior continues. Complaining without consequences is just noise. It doesn't create change. People repeat behavior that works. If disrespecting you doesn't cost him access to you, it will continue. You accept apologies without changed behavior. He says, "I'm sorry, I won't do it again." You forgive him. He does it again. The cycle repeats because apologies are cheap and you accept them as payment for disrespect. Words mean nothing without action. Judge him by behavior change, not apology quality. You set boundaries but don't enforce them. You tell him what you won't accept, he violates that boundary. You do nothing or give another chance. Boundaries without enforcement aren't boundaries, they're suggestions he can ignore. And you're afraid walking away means you're giving up. You think leaving means you're quitting or not fighting for the relationship. You believe people can change and you should give them opportunities. You're afraid of being alone or starting over. The cost of staying in disrespect is higher than the cost of starting over. Every time Devin disrespected Michelle, the pattern was the same. He'd cancel plans last minute, Michelle would be upset, Devin would apologize, Michelle would forgive him. He'd go days without texting, Michelle would complain, Devin would say he was busy, Michelle would accept it. He'd flirt openly with other women. Michelle would confront him, Devin would say she was overreacting, Michelle would drop it. For a year, Michelle complained about Devin's behavior. For a year, Devin continued the exact same behavior. Why would he change? Michelle had taught him he could disrespect her, say sorry, and keep full access to her. The behavior didn't stop until Michelle finally left. Only then did Devin realize his actions had consequences, but by then Michelle was done. So enforce consequences. If he violates your boundaries, reduce or remove access to you. Leave after pattern repetition. Once is a mistake, twice is a choice, 3 times is who he is. Judge by actions, not apologies. Does behavior change or just apology quality improve? Make walking away your boundary. Some behavior should result in immediate exit, not conversation. Value yourself enough to leave. Staying in disrespect tells him you don't think you deserve better. Before we get to the final mistake, if this video is calling you out in ways that sting but needed to be said, hit that subscribe button. We don't tell you what you want to hear. We tell you what you need to hear to protect yourself. Now let's talk about the last mistake. Mistake 5, trying to prove your worth instead of making him prove his worth of your time. You audition for the girlfriend role, being more accommodating, more sexual, more understanding, more patient, hoping to convince him you're worth choosing. Meanwhile, he provides minimal effort while you do all the work. You're auditioning for a role that should be his to earn. You're trying to prove your girlfriend material. You showcase how cool, low maintenance, sexually available you are. You're working to convince him to choose you. When you're auditioning, he's judging. That power dynamic favors him completely. The person who cares less has more power. When you're proving worth, you care more. You give more than you receive, hoping it'll be reciprocated. You're thoughtful, supportive, sexually available, emotionally present. He provides minimal effort, inconsistent attention, vague promises. You tell yourself that showing him what he could have will make him want it. Giving freely, hoping it'll be returned, is just giving. It doesn't create reciprocity. You lower your standards to keep him interested. You accept behavior you swore you wouldn't accept. You tolerate things that violate your values because you want him to choose you. You've compromised who you are to be what you think he wants. When you lower standards to keep someone, you keep someone who requires low standards. And you compete with other women instead of disqualifying him. You notice other women in his orbit and try to be better than them. You compete to be the chosen one. Instead of recognizing that a man entertaining multiple options isn't worth competing for. High-value women don't compete for men. They let men compete for them. Why are you making this mistake? You believe if you're just better or perfect enough, he'll commit. You think love means working hard for the relationship. You don't realize that making him prove himself is what creates his investment. Men value what they work for. What comes easily is taken for granted.
For months, Olivia tried to prove to Jordan that she was worth committing to. She was the cool girlfriend who didn't complain when he disappeared for days. She was sexually available whenever he wanted. She was understanding when he couldn't make time for her. She thought showing Jordan how perfect she could be would make him want to lock her down. Meanwhile, Jordan put in minimal effort. He texted when convenient, he made last-minute plans, he kept Olivia separate from his life. But he kept coming back because Olivia had made herself infinitely available while asking for nothing in return. Olivia's friend finally said, "You're trying to prove you're worth choosing. Make him prove he's worth choosing." Olivia realized Jordan had never had to work for her, so he didn't value her. The day Olivia started requiring effort, Jordan disappeared, which proved he was never going to commit. He just wanted what came easy. So make him pursue and invest. Let him initiate, plan, pursue. His investment creates his commitment. Require him to prove himself. What is he doing to show he's worthy of your time? Don't lower standards. If he requires lowering your standards to keep him, he's not worth keeping. Exit competition. If you're competing for his attention, you've already lost. Walk away. Know your value and require others to recognize it. Stop proving worth. Start requiring it be acknowledged through action. If you want to know what high-value women do differently that makes them unplayable, watch our next video on the 5 things high-value women never do in dating. Understanding what not to do is the foundation for attracting men who actually deserve you. Links in the description. Here's what you need to understand. Players win because women hand them the victory. You ignore red flags, you're too available, you push for commitment before he's invested, you accept disrespect without consequences, and you spend all your energy trying to prove you're worthy of someone who hasn't proven he's worthy of you. Every one of these mistakes gives players exactly what they need to keep playing you. The good news? The moment you stop making these mistakes, you become unplayable, and players move on to easier targets. Look at your current situation or your last few relationships. How many of these mistakes are you making? If you're making 3 or more, you're making it easy for players to win, and you have the power to stop. Stop ignoring what you see. Stop being too available. Stop trying to force commitment. Stop accepting disrespect without consequences. And stop spending all your energy trying to prove you're worthy of someone who hasn't proven he's worthy of you. Every one of these mistakes gives players exactly what they need to keep playing you. The moment you stop making these mistakes, you become unplayable, and players move on to easier targets. Look at your current situation or your last few relationships. How many of these mistakes are you making? If you're making 3 or more, you're making it easy for players to win, and you have the power to stop. Stop ignoring what you see. Stop being too available. Stop trying to force commitment. Stop accepting disrespect. Stop auditioning when he should be proving himself. Change these patterns and you change your results. The men who are actually worth your time will respect these boundaries. The players will disappear. And that's exactly what should happen. If this video called you out in ways that stung but needed to be said, subscribe to this channel. We don't tell you what you want to hear, we tell you what you need to hear to protect yourself. Drop a comment telling me which mistake you've been making, or if you stopped making these mistakes and it changed your dating life, share what happened. Your honesty might help another woman stop giving players the advantage. You have all the power here. Players only succeed when you cooperate with your own disrespect. Stop cooperating. See red flags and act on them. Value your time and availability. Let commitment be his idea or his loss. Walk away from disrespect. Make him prove his worth instead of proving yours. Do these things, and you'll find that players can't play someone who refuses to participate in the game.